Hello YouTube. Just going to finally run through the rest of the games I have for my various systems so I can start getting on to some of the other video projects I might want to get started. So we'll start actually with the Game Boy stuff. I have a Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Player so I can play original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. Start with original Game Boy. Start off with Donkey Kong puzzle platformer. I was actually kind of surprised that past the first 3 levels it was no longer the arcade port, but it wasn't an unpleasant surprise, let's put it that way. Okay, Ashido, Way of the Stones. It's a puzzle game. I actually had the Mac version of this at one point, and I don't have it anymore. I was like, you know, I'd better get that for something when I saw it at the game store. Okay, Metroid 2, Return of Samus. I suppose it's part of my backlog. Okay, Kicks. It's a port of the old arcade game where you have to try to block off increasingly large areas of the playfield from the... I don't know what they call that flashy line thing. Okay, Tetris. You can't have a Game Boy without having Tetris on it. I never had an original Game Boy. This was obviously the back-end for somebody's Game Boy. I don't know whose. Okay, and finally, Ultima Runes of Virtue 2. It's part of my backlog, as usual. Okay, my only Game Boy Color game, Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. I want to get the Oracle of Ages before I make an attempt at playing this one. Okay, Game Boy Advance games. First up, BattleBots. I may get rid of this. It's not a terribly great game. Capcom Classics Mini Mix. Kind of an interesting mix of 3 games on here. Okay, Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Dawn of Souls. I've played through Final Fantasy 1 via this particular cart. So this is, yet is not in my backlog. I've yet to try to play 2. I've heard there's some issues with some of the systems on it. Okay, Pac-Man Collection. I bought this so I could have the original Pac-Man, Pac-Mania, and Pac-Attack, which was the Super Nintendo puzzle game back in the day. Okay, and finally, Texas Hold'em. Yes, it's poker, but it's good for at least a few minutes of goofing around. Alright, now on to the Xbox 360, and Gamecube games. Okay, to start off, yes, I know, I've got Dead or Alive. I originally had the PS1 copy of the first, and well, when you have Dead or Alive 2, Dead or Alive 1 is only good to pull out for the odd physics. Okay, Dead or Alive 3, I bought this at a thrift store. First 2 came from a game store. I bought this one specifically so I could build the save file to complete the unlocks on 2 for costumes. Okay, Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Technically this is part of the backlog, but I'm trying to get my friends over a little more often to try to do a multiplayer game of it. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. This is one I bought after Angry Video Game Nerd did a Godzilla game review set. And when I'd seen this on there, it's like, hey, that's a spiritual successor of King, or not King of the... Was it King of the Monsters? One of the old Neo Geo cabinet games where the monsters would wrestle. Me and my friends have had some real fun playing that, and the fact that we can destroy the city without having to go after it, well, that's a bonus. So, Half-Life 2, part of my backlog. I want to get the first Half-Life. Okay, more backlog. So, Halo. And Halo 2. Eventually I'll play those. More backlog, Knights of the Old Republic. I've played part way through it, and it's a matter of digging out the time. Okay, thrift store find Knights of the Old Republic 2. This one is missing the manual. Okay, another backlog. Tron 2 Killer App. I do want to play that, it's just going to be a matter of time. And Raw 2. Yes, it's a wrestling game. It's another fighter. And somewhere around here is my copy of the original Fable. I have no idea where... Oh, it's over by the actual Xbox. So, right here. I'm kind of trying to make an effort to play through it. I'm kind of stuck on the Hob Cave right now. Alright, so I'll get into the 360 games. This is the game that I bought to test the console when I got it repaired. Harry Potter Years 1 through 4. This is not part of my backlog. I actually blew through this in a week. I had taken that week off to do a staycation. I had planned to do some other things, but I brought this home and... Well, I did everything, including unlock all the achievements. Yeah, Fable 2, for the 360, part of my backlog. Okay, this one I bought for the sake of Geometry Wars. No doubt about it. Fun game. In fact, that includes a couple other games on it, a puzzler and a kind of puzzler. That was just a bonus. And... this one I bought for the Pac-Man Championship Edition. It's got a few other games I've got some interest in. Both those were bought used, and definitely worth the money to me. Okay, Gamecube. So yeah, backlog. I actually got the card of this one, so I'll probably wind up playing the Gamecube just because. Okay. Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Again, part of the backlog. Got so many of these games to play. Okay, more backlog. These came with my console. So, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. And Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. See, I do believe that... Yeah, this is the one. This one I actually had to reprint the insert. It didn't come to me with an insert. I didn't want to just buy a copy just for upgrading it. Okay, the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. Part of my backlog. That saves me having to track down the individual games. Get over there. Okay, Metroid Prime. Part of my backlog. Sorry, just to get it just so I'd have it available. Okay, Midway Arcade Treasures. I've got some duplication with the PS1 collection with this one. This one came with the console as part of the batch. Again, came with the console, the Namco Museum 50th anniversary. Again, it's got a lot of duplication with some of the stuff I have from the PS1. Got a couple of games with it that don't come on those, so it means I can't just get rid of it. Okay, Outlaw Golf. Again, came with the console. I think at some point I'll have to actually sit down and play it. Super Smash Bros. Melee. I've played this a few times. I bought it more to have for the party game aspect of it. And Tiger Woods PGA Tour. This came with the console, so I'm not going to complain too much. It is a golf game. And, of course, the disc for the Game Boy player. Anyway, that pretty much covers all the rest of the games that I've got. Go ahead and back up here. So I'll probably start getting more of the controllers cataloged, and I'll talk to you later.